The SD70ACE, or sometimes called the ACE, is the most recent locomotive in the family of SD engines. It's preceded by the SD70MAC and the SD40-2, both classic locomotives. And the SD70ACE is my favorite modern road engine. As far as I'm concerned, the SD70ACE has the distinction of being the first locomotive made in the 21st century, only being developed in 2005. The SD70ACE can commonly be seen on coal trains or trains that are particularly heavy because they have immense pulling power. More on that later. Some of the railroads that operate the SD70ACE are BNSF, Montana Rail Link, Ferromex, Norfolk Southern, and the Arkansas and Missouri Railroad, a Class 3 short line. And Union Pacific, who owns the most ACEs of any railroad, coming in at around 680. Different railroads have different specifications, and some of the railroads like to have their locomotives tailor-made to fit their needs. While BNSF operates the generic SD70ACE, Union Pacific has a fleet of T4 SD70ACEs, made to emit as little greenhouse gases as possible. A dead giveaway for a T4 is the long hood. You can see that it's not a saddleback, but rather it's flat all the way across. This is because it had to be raised in order to make room for filtration technology that goes on top of the prime mover. This filtration technology is what makes a T4 ACE. Canadian Pacific and Norfolk Southern are the only two railroads that operate the SD70ACU. It's basically an SD70ACE, but on steroids, and is the result of rebuilding an SD90MAC. It's 80 feet long and has 4,500 horsepower. One distinguishing trait on the ACUs are these little cube-looking things on the end, and the hood behind the radiator fins is a bit longer. Fun fact, Canadian Pacific's fleet of military appreciation locomotives are all SD70ACUs. Early SD70ACEs had a really bad noise in the cab. It was so bad, in fact, that BNSF was forced to not allow ACEs to lead on trains, after union complaints. As far as I'm concerned, there weren't any major complications with them. No engine fires like the Dash 9s, just some minor computer problems here and there. SD70ACEs are made by EMD, the same company that makes all SD-type locomotives. The SD stands for Special Duty, the 70 is just the model number, like how GE has the Dash 7, 8, and 9. The AC stands for AC current, which is what the traction motors run off of. And I'm pretty sure that the E just signifies that it was made by EMD. I could be wrong though. A typical ACE is 408,000 pounds, 76 foot long, 10 foot 2 inches wide, and has a V16 turbocharged diesel engine that can produce 4,300 horsepower, with a tractive effort of 191,000 pounds and a 4,800 gallon fuel tank. The ACE is still going strong. While production ceased in 2015, there are still hundreds out on the rails, and most of them are in great condition. Because they're such a recently made locomotive, none have been set aside for preservation, but hopefully that'll change with time. ACEs have gone international too, being used on the BHP Railroad in Australia, and heavily used in Mexico working for Ferromex, as well as the Saudi Railroad in Saudi Arabia. Aren't those some crazy looking rail cars? And that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to railroads abroad that use the ACE. Another thing that's interesting about these ACEs is that they are the most common locomotive used in Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern's Heritage fleet. Just look at this photo of Norfolk Southern's Virginian Heritage Unit number 1069. It's a tried and true SD70 ACE. Long story short, the ACE will be around for decades to come, pulling coal trains and heavy manifests all over the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider checking out some other ones of mine. Till next time. This filtration technology is what makes a T4 ACE.